You know, when I first started looking into how to create a really great relationship, after my first marriage dissolved and I had this awful divorce, but I was 30 something, you know, and I was just so desperate to get it together and to find a partner and have a family and do all of those things. And so I looked around for some insight and how to make it work. And, you know, even though I'd been a therapist for a really long time and worked with couples, I felt like I didn't know how to make it happen and make it happen now. And so I looked around at so many things and I realized I was looking for a quick fix, you know, kind of like a get rich quick kind of scheme where I thought there'd be some sort of magic bullet. And what I tell all the women who come and work with me is that there is no magic bullet. There are definitely some skills that I've discovered and some processes that I've developed that I do teach the women in my Love Codes program that would change the way that we do relationships from the beginning, from the beginning to the end. It's a whole process, but it's not like you just do a process once and then your relationships are going to be perfectly magical all the time. I did think that would happen. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. And if you're the same, I just want to share this with you that, you know, when I first discovered these 5 love codes and I applied it to my own life, the effect of it was profound, and the same things were happening for other women that applied the 5 codes too. You know, they were getting, I was getting as well a lot more interest from really great men and quality men. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And then the next thing was that, you know, the ones that I was really into, they were starting to they were stepping up and wanting to have a relationship with me. And it was amazing, you know, like after having been through a devastating divorce and then being single for a really long time. And so many of the women that I work with are in that same category, that same boat. And these are beautiful women, you know, intelligent and incredible women. But it was amazing for me to see that. And I thought, wow, this is the magic bullet, basically. And it was to a degree. And then I did meet the most incredible man who I'm now married to, extremely happy, and we have a family. I really did. It all did work out. But I've been in this relationship now for a long time, and I can tell you that it's not over. You know, you don't apply these codes. They're not a magic bullet that you take once and it's all better. It's a changing of the way that we live. You know, the old paradigm of how we do relationships has not been looked at for such a long time, and it's extremely toxic. It ends up in skyrocketing divorce numbers, as we all know. It ends up in toxic and abusive relationships, or it ends up in these kind of deadened relationships where nobody's being fulfilled. That's the old paradigm, and that has to change. And that's exactly what the process is that I go through and that I take women through, is to change the whole paradigm of how we see relationships. And we need to do it on the outset, but then once you're in a relationship, it's the same thing again. It's a relationship again in a new way, because you're in the relationship now. And this is when the codes really come into their own. I love working with women who are already in a relationship as well as women who are single. When we're in a relationship and we're applying the codes, you get to see how the effect is in real time. And it's just mind blowing. But I now, you know, I've been doing this for a really long time, and I still lean on those codes when it's getting glitchy in my relationship, when things aren't really kind of smooth, or there's just those angsty times, or there's periods where we just don't seem to be connecting, or I'm not feeling right. I lean back on the codes and I apply them again, and I remember them and I reintegrate them, and they just keep, my relationship keeps on getting better and better. And that's one of the really great things that I wanted to mention, is that the Heartbreak No More process in code 4, when you're in a relationship, that's the one that you got to keep coming back to, or all of them. But this one is just so fantastic, because what happens is you're vulnerable. You know, when the shit hits the fan in your relationship and you apply this code, you really have the tools to open to the vulnerability, rather than trying to be right, rather than trying to get away from it, rather than trying to fix it or fix over it. And every single time, and I am speaking from my own experience and lots of other women who've done this as well, but I'll speak from my own experience, every single time when this happens, and it's usually those worst moments in your relationship where you feel like, oh my God, maybe this is the end, or I can't get past this, like this is something we cannot get past, is when I go back to that Heartbreak No More code 4. And lean into it. And every time, without fail, and I kid you not, every single time, not only does it get us through, our relationship levels up again. And now it's kind of gotten to that point that I almost look forward to those glitchy moments, because I know that when I get out of my own way and I rely on the code and come back to the code, it always levels up. So I wanted to share this with you, because I know a lot of women, just the same as I was, looking for a quick fix. And I want to warn you that there are no quick fixes. Relationships are a living and breathing entity, and they're a beautiful place to be. And they're a gift to us from life. But they are living and breathing, and they are constantly growing, and we need to grow with them. And that's why I teach the Love Codes program, and it is something that we apply immediately, but it's something that we can keep on coming back to. It's why I wrote a book about it, so that, it can be out there for as many people possible, and we have a handbook to keep coming back to. Now, I am running a webinar. It's a masterclass. We don't use the word webinar anymore. I'm running a masterclass this coming Tuesday. If you haven't already signed up, I highly recommend you do. It's free, and I'm going to unpack the whole 5 codes to just give more insight into what they are, especially at this time in our lives, this time in the world. We can all use as much help as we can possibly get to keep increasing that love, and to keep deepening the connection that we have with our partner, or calling in that partner that we can have that deep, true, authentic connection with. So if you haven't registered yet, make sure you do. It's going to be 6:30 on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Australia Melbourne time on Tuesday, and there should be a link in the bio or in the comments. So if you want to come, just click the link and register. And thanks for listening. I really trust that this will have given you some great value that you can apply in your life right now. Thanks for listening.